That's not a good start, just dropped my camera, but we seem to be functioning. Great. I'm filming in the garden today because it's quite a nice day, but I do have a blanket on my lap just in case I get a bit cold. Welcome to my April favourites and books. I hope you're keeping sane. Understandably, I don't have a lot of favourites this month that aren't books because all I've been doing is reading all day long, every day long. So what I thought I'd do is go through my favourites that are not books first for you non-booky people. And then if you're a booky person, you can carry on watching and discover what I've been reading in April. So, my first favourite of April is an app. I've actually got 3 favourite apps in April, which is kind of crazy. Oh, and yes, I know what you're thinking. And yes, I did get a new Fitbit strap. I'm not digging it, to be honest. It keeps throwing me off. I see it in my viewfinder and I'm like, ugh, pink, okay. Okay, where was I? Favourite app. Yes, okay, so one of my favourites has been Strava, which is the running app that everybody is using, running, cycling, walking. I have always been one for analytics. I do love an analytic, I love a graph, I love some data. Before I discovered Strava, I used to use like Map My Run websites to see how far I'd run exactly. I really enjoyed stuff like that. I don't know why I didn't know about Strava beforehand, but anyway, got Strava, absolutely loving it. Every time I go on a walk, cycle or run, I've been Stravaing it. I love posting photos, I love seeing where everyone else is running. The only thing about it is that you can work out where everyone lives, so I think that might come around and bite people in the bum in the future. It's probably a good idea not to start your Strava app until you're like 100 meters away from your house. That makes it a little bit more difficult for the stalkers, but yeah, okay, that's the fault with it. But it is one of my favourites and I really enjoy seeing the little map of like where I ran and my timings and stuff. That's such a boring one, sorry. Sorry to interrupt, but since filming this I did some research because I thought surely that's not right. And sure enough, there is ways to make your Strava private. You can either only show your activities to your followers, or you can set a privacy radius around your house, which is what I've done. I've put a 600 meter radius on it. It just means that the line on the map is invisible so that people can't work out where you live. So if you have Strava, I'd recommend doing that because we need to keep the stalkers at bay. Okay, next, another app. Oh, TikTok. I have been so obsessed with TikTok, not only making them but watching them. Usually when I go to bed, I lay in my phone. Lay in my phone? I lay on my bed on my phone for another like hour just scrolling through TikTok. I find them hilarious. People are hilarious and original, and I just wish I was funny enough to come up with my own TikToks. Mum and I have been doing a few. We literally end up cry laughing every time. I find it really entertaining. However, when I go back to work, I might have to delete the app because it is time consuming, and in these times it's fine to like be on your phone for hours because there's nothing better to do, but when it comes back to like normal life, I might have to rein back some control over myself and delete the app. But for now, I'm loving it. And I can't wait to make some with Elliot. Okay, another app is, oh, what's it even called? Calm. So when we were first in lockdown, I was having the most crazy vivid dreams. Like, I mean, I have crazy dreams all the time, but they were even crazier. And I would come down every morning like, oh my God. So that happened for maybe 1 or 2 weeks. And then I went to the other end of the spectrum and I was just really struggling to sleep, just like laying there wide awake, like, what do I do with myself now? So I downloaded the Calm app one night when I'd woken up, and they've got noises that you go to bed to, so things like this. I love that. So I usually put that on and set it to like an hour timer so that it automatically turns off after an hour. Hi! Yeah. And that has been helping me get to sleep. I've been using that most nights, and my favourite sound is probably the rainforest. I do love a rainforest. One more thing before we get to the books. I bleached a pair of my jeans. I'm wearing them today. They look like this. I bleached this leg and not this leg. I think this started as a TikTok trend, but I just really love how it looks, and I was like, oh, I'll give it a go on an old pair of jeans that were actually too big for me, and then I did it and they look really nice. So now, even though they're too big for me, I'm wearing them. I've just had to bunch everything up at the back in my belt to make them fit. If you want to see how I did it, you can go back and watch my vlog. I don't know which one it is, you'll work it out. On to books then. I've been reading a lot. I don't know if book reviews are fun to watch So I thought I'd just tell you how many stars I gave it and just maybe like a one-liner about what I thought. Book number 1 of April is Daisy in Chains. This is a thriller. I was enjoying this so much. I thought this was the best thriller I'd ever read until I got to maybe the second to last chapter, and I was very disappointed with the twist. I gave this 3 stars. I then read this, When All Is Said. I gave this 3 stars as well. I did enjoy it, but it was quite predictable, and it reminded me very much of 5 People You Meet in Heaven, Together, and A Man Called Ove. It was basically an amalgamation of those 3 books put together. Next, Our Stop, I gave 5 stars. 5 stars for Our Stop. Absolutely loved it. Very similar to Flatshare, so I wouldn't have read them back to back because they're just too similar. I really didn't want this to end, and I loved this book. It's going to be up there in my top 5 books of the year, I think. Next was the Elton John autobiography, Me. I am absolutely obsessed with Elton John. I loved this book. I thought it was very honest and raw and enlightening. There were some incredible stories in here, and if you're a fan of Elton John, even if you're not actually, I would recommend you read this. I cried when I finished this book. 5 stars. Next up was this one, Nella's Happy Campers. This is a very bizarre book that Craig got from somewhere. I gave this 2 stars. I think the person that wrote this book was probably on magic mushrooms when they wrote it. It was very odd, but it's only this big, so if you, I mean, do with that what you will. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you, I'll leave that one with you. Next was How I Live Now. I gave this 3 stars. It was a nice little story. Again, it's quite a small book. Mum enjoyed this one more than me. I mean, it was fine. I think this is a young adults book. I think they read this in some schools. Why do I think that? Winner of the Guardian Children's Fiction Prize. That might be why I think that. Next. Oh! Okay, another tiny book. This is why I've read so many books this month, is because they're all that big. This is called The Guest Cat. It's a little novella about a cat. You'd think that I'd like it. I have nothing bad to say about this book, but it just wasn't really my style. It's a bit alternative and quirky and arty. I don't even know why I read this, to be honest. I think it's because it's got a cat on the cover. Yeah, a bit strange. A bit strange, this one. And last but not least in April was this book, Other People's Houses. Oh, I gave Guest Cat 2 stars, by the way. Other People's Houses, I gave 5 stars. This is another book by Abby Waxman. She wrote The Bookish Life of Nina Hill, which I was obsessed with. So I bought all of Abby Waxman's books, which I'm afraid is only 3. And I really enjoyed this. I really like Abby Waxman. I think she could be one of my favourite authors of all time. The only thing that let this book down is that there was a couple of loose ends at the end that weren't tied up. But no, this is good, and I absolutely loved it. Again, with Our Stop and Flatshare, I think they're all going to be up there for me in my year's readings. What I'm going to do is show you these in the order that I enjoyed them, so that if you want to take the recommendations, you can just go top to bottom. So give me a mo. So this is the order in which I enjoyed them. The top one is my favourite, the bottom one is my least favourite. So if you want to take those as recommendations, you are very welcome to. I do actually have 2 more favourites this month, but I'm going to have to run in and grab them. 1 second.
You can come here.
And these are my last 2 April favourites. You guys have been great. We haven't argued once.
No, no.
We haven't, have we? We've been getting on very well, and for that I'm grateful, and you're my favourites.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That was all. You can go now.
Thank you. How long are you gonna be?
Couple of minutes. That is it for my April favourites. I hope you like the book reviews. If you're not a book person, apologies about that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.